The chair leg scraped the tile when she stood up too fast, that ugly squeal, and I remember thinking, why is she standing like that? Not angry, defensive, like I'd already accused her of something, even though I hadn't said a word yet. I was still holding the grocery bag, milk leaking onto my shoe. Dumb detail, but it's stuck there. So yeah, that's where this starts. Not with some big speech. Just me standing there, socks getting wet, her asking why I was looking at her like that. Like what? Like I was tired? Because I was. We'd been off, not fighting exactly, more like dodging each other, conversations stopping halfway, laughs that ended too quick. She'd been sharp lately, snappy. If I asked how her day was, she'd sigh like I'd insulted her, and I told myself it was stress, work, her sister, money. I told myself all of it at once because that's easier than picking the one thing you're scared of. I even apologized more. For nothing. For breathing wrong, for asking questions, which, yeah, that should have been a sign. But signs only look obvious afterward, right? Anyway, she stood there, arms crossed, eyebrow up. "What now?" she said. That tone, half joke, half threat. I laughed, actually laughed, and said nothing. Just shook my head. That's the part that makes me cringe. I could have asked something real. Instead, I shrugged, like I was the problem. Then she rolled her eyes and walked past me, shoulder clipping mine on purpose, hard enough that the milk bag tore and hit the floor. Sudden, loud, white splash everywhere. She snapped, "God, you're so dramatic," even though I hadn't reacted yet. And right there, I felt it. Not proof, not certainty, just this cold drop in my stomach, like something had already happened and I was the last person in the room to know. It wasn't one thing. I need to say that because people always assume there's a moment where everything clicks. There wasn't. It was more like tripping down a short flight of stairs, each step a little worse, a little faster, no time to grab the railing. A week after the milk thing. See, even I'm measuring time weird now. I came home early, not to catch her. I swear. My meeting got canceled and I didn't text because, I don't know, habit or laziness, or maybe some part of me wanted to see who she was when I wasn't scheduled. The apartment smelled different. Not bad, just unfamiliar. Citrus and something sharper. Men's deodorant, maybe? I told myself it was the cleaner she'd started using. She'd mentioned it. Or maybe she hadn't. I can't remember, that's the scary part. She was in the shower, music on, loud. Too loud for a Tuesday afternoon. I stood there like an idiot, keys still in my hand, and then, this is stupid, I noticed the coat. Not mine. Too big in the shoulders, hung neatly like it belonged. I touched it, just the sleeve, and she called my name from the bathroom, voice suddenly tight. "Why are you home?" That was the interruption, the shift. I said, "Meeting canceled," and my voice cracked like I was confessing to something. She didn't answer right away. The water shut off. Silence stretched. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. "Wow. Okay, paranoid much?" She came out wrapped in a towel, hair dripping, eyes already angry. Said the coat was her cousin's. Said I was imagining things. Said I'd been weird lately, and maybe I should talk to someone. Turned it around so fast I almost apologized again. But then this stupid, tiny thing. I saw the red mark on her neck. Not a hickey, not exactly, just irritation. She slapped a hand over it when she saw me looking. "It's nothing," she said too quickly. "Dry skin." Dry skin doesn't flinch. My chest went hot, then hollow. I wanted to believe her so badly it hurt. So I nodded. And the moment I did, something inside me broke clean in half. We didn't sit down like adults. There was no calm, "We need to talk." It blew up because I asked the wrong question at the wrong second. She was tying her shoes, rushing already halfway out the door, and I said, too casually, pretending I didn't care, "So when did your cousin start wearing cologne?" She froze, just stopped, one lace hanging loose. Then she laughed again, that sharp bark of a laugh she uses when she's cornered. "What is wrong with you?" she said, not answering, redirecting. I told her to stop. My voice surprised me, louder than I meant. She flinched, then immediately got angry about the flinch, said I was scaring her, said this was why she couldn't breathe around me anymore. That word, anymore, hit harder than the rest. I said I knew something was going on. I didn't say cheating. I couldn't. It felt too big to put air around. She started pacing, fast, like movement could outrun truth. Said I was projecting. Said my insecurities were exhausting. Said if I pushed her like this, I'd force her to leave. Then she slipped, just a little. "You don't even know him," she said. Him. I went cold, asked who him was. She blinked, realized, backtracked instantly. "I meant people, like co-workers." She smiled like I was stupid for noticing, like I was ruining a joke. I told her I saw the mark on her neck, the coat, the smell. I listed it like evidence, even though my hands were shaking. She crossed her arms and said, "Wow, you've really built a whole fantasy, haven't you?" Then, sudden, brutal, she cried, full tears. Said I was breaking her heart, said I didn't trust her, said she couldn't believe she married someone who thought so little of her. And I stood there thinking, why do I feel guilty right now? After that night, nothing felt solid. Not the floor, not my own thoughts. I'd wake up already tired, like I'd been arguing in my sleep. Sometimes I'd convince myself I imagined the whole thing. I'd replay her crying, her shaking voice, and think, maybe I pushed too hard. Maybe I wanted drama. That scared me more than the idea of her cheating. Then something small would happen and knock the air out of me again, like her flinching when I touched her arm, or the way she'd suddenly lock the bathroom door, or how she'd talk about space like it was oxygen she needed protection from. Each time I'd feel this spike of anger, sharp, electric, followed immediately by shame, for suspecting, for caring, for still wanting her. I'd catch myself planning apologies for things I hadn't done yet, rehearsing lines in my head, don't accuse, don't push, don't ruin tonight. And then she'd casually mention going out with friends, and my stomach would drop through my ribs. I'd nod, smile, say, have fun, then hate myself the second the door closed. One night, I snapped and asked her to just tell me the truth, not yelling, almost begging. She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language and said, "Why are you doing this to us?" To us. Like my doubt was the betrayal. I'd sit alone afterward, oscillating between rage fantasies, packing a bag, disappearing, and this pathetic hope that if I stayed quiet long enough, things would reset. That maybe love worked like that, like a glitch you could ignore until it fixed itself. But deep down, under all the noise, there was this steady ache. The realization that even if she wasn't lying, which, come on, I'd already lost something. Trust doesn't explode. It erodes, quietly. And I could feel the ground thinning beneath me, step by step, and I didn't know how to stop walking. The truth didn't come out in a dramatic confession. No suitcase by the door, no screaming match. It came out sideways during an argument about something stupid, trash, I think, or dishes. It's always something small when everything big is rotting underneath. She said, "I wouldn't have needed anyone else if you'd been easier to live with." I remember that clearly. The word else. I didn't even react at first. My brain stalled, like it couldn't load the sentence. Then I asked her to repeat it. Calm, almost polite. She sighed, annoyed, like I was being slow on purpose. Don't do this, she said. You know what I mean. I told her I didn't. I told her I needed her to say it. And she finally did, rolling her eyes, voice flat. Fine, I crossed a line, but it wasn't like you think. There it was, half-truth dressed as mercy. She said it just happened, said it didn't mean anything, said it was about feeling seen. She never said sorry, not once. She said I drove her to it, said my moods were heavy, said I made the apartment feel like a test she was always failing. I felt something strange then, not relief, not rage, quiet, like a room after a storm when everything's soaked and broken, but the wind finally stops. I told her I couldn't do this anymore. She laughed, actually laughed, and said I was being dramatic again, said I'd cool off, said we'd talk later. But I packed a bag anyway, hands shaking, heart racing, and when I reached the door, she suddenly got soft, said I was abandoning her, said she didn't recognize me anymore. I almost stayed. That's the part I don't like admitting. I didn't leave cleanly. I wish I could say I did. I came back twice. Once for clothes I didn't need. Once because she texted, "Can we just talk like adults?" And I fell for that phrasing like it was a lifeline. Both times the apartment felt smaller, quieter, like it was holding its breath. She acted normal, too normal. Made coffee, asked if I wanted sugar, told me I looked tired. Then, out of nowhere, she'd jab, say I was throwing everything away, say I'd regret this, say no one would put up with me the way she did. And I'd stand there nodding, absorbing it, wondering how someone could hurt you and still sound offended that you're bleeding. The last time, she asked if I was seeing someone. I almost laughed. The irony nearly choked me. When I said no, she smirked and said, "Well, don't wait too long." That did it. Something finally snapped into place. Not anger, not clarity, just finality. What I learned? I don't know. That sounds honest, so I'll stick with it. I learned that you can love someone and still disappear inside their version of events. I learned that doubt can be taught, that gaslighting isn't always loud. It can sound like concern, like logic, like love. I still replay conversations, still rewrite moments, still wonder where exactly I lost my footing. Some days I miss her voice. Other days I can't believe I let it rewrite my own. If there's advice in here, it's messy. Maybe it's this: if you're constantly explaining why you're hurt, you're already alone. And if someone makes you feel crazy for noticing the cracks, maybe the cracks aren't the problem. I don't feel healed. I feel awake. And that's uncomfortable. But it's real. And for now, that's all I've got.